from the Ticats Audio Network. This is the Ticats This Week.
Here we go, Ticats This Week, Eastern Final Edition. We have the Hamilton Tiger-Cats hosting the Montreal Alouettes this coming Saturday afternoon. Playoff football, there's nothing better, especially in the Hammer, where it's Blackout game. Yes, hashtag wear black for Saturday. It's going to be a packed house, a lot of rabid fans. Rick Zamperin here, Simoni Lawrence, and Matt Bucknor. Gentlemen, good day once again.
Yo, 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 yo.
Great day, great day.
It is.
Yo. Playoff week, man. Lock in.
We're locked in. We have some special news to pass along in just a couple of minutes. But before we get to that, to Simoni's chagrin, let's recap last week's East and West semifinal playoff picks. Both Matt and I went Montreal and BC. Simoni went the other way, Winnipeg and Calgary. And Winnipeg, my gosh, they had Matt and I shaking in our boots with their furious third period comeback, which just fell short. And Calgary gave BC a run for their money as well. But it's the Lions and Alouettes moving on. BC will take on Saskatchewan in the West Final Saturday evening. And, of course, Hamilton hosting Montreal. Maybe, Sim, we'll start with you. Just your thoughts on those two games, and then we'll talk about the upcoming playoff game this weekend.
I mean, Montreal looked like a way better football team than Winnipeg in the first half. And the problem with that is the reason Winnipeg was able to come back is because the sense of confidence that you get after beating a team the way Montreal was beating Winnipeg in the first half, you get into halftime and like, oh, okay, this game's over. And, Winnipeg's one of those teams that has a lot of fight in them, and they had the opportunity to win this game multiple times. I'm talking about from the aspect of Brady Oliveira not fumbling the football to Kyrie Wilson just having to make an open field tackle. Like, these guys were just playing, just didn't make their plays to win this football game, but it was a game Winnipeg could have very much won. And then you go over on the other side and you're just like, Vernon told on himself already. Vernon said that, his confidence wasn't there. And when your confidence isn't there, like, you're not going to win any football games because the guy was playing backyard football like he had no idea what kind of football he was playing. We could talk about the 3 points that they could have got before the half that they desperately could have needed before BC scored that touchdown when they were running the clock, when he had a certain amount of time on the clock. And the first play, he wasted about 8 seconds just running all around like he was playing NFL Blitz or something, CFL Blitz for this chance. But and then the next play, it's like he's wasting all the time, and then he just lobs the ball up, not even in the end zone, and it was just like bad time management. It wasn't playoff football. Like, those kind of mistakes were something that you just can't happen. I'm just happy it happened to those teams so our team could see and learn from that. But it was a game where I thought Calgary should have won that football game. I think Calgary played a good enough football game. I think their quarterback let them down. I think their staff let them down, because there's no way that Vernon goes on that field and not understand what's going on the football field. Like, yo, we got to get out of here with 3 points. And then the defense at the end of the game, Calgary let them catch a big pass and they were able to kick the field goal to win. Both of the games were close, but I will say the Montreal game looked close, but I feel like that sense of hypeness of beating a team so bad in the first half gave Winnipeg the opportunity to come back. And the thing about Montreal that I loved watching about them was, man, they're a really good football team, but they're very beatable football team. And I'm looking around the roster and I'm just like, I don't see any disparities as far as like their receivers versus our DBs. I would be like, oh man, we could play man against these guys and win all day. Only problem is you're going against a David Alexander that can run, and that means you're holding your defensive line responsible to keep him in the pocket, and then you might put a little spy on him every once in a while, and that could be a headache. But they're a very beatable football team. Winnipeg, when they were running the ball, they were getting success, but they did not commit to the run. I mean, a lot of it's because they went down so much, and a lot of it's because their star running back keeps fumbling the ball in these crucial times. I don't know what's going on. But this game, the two games, they were fun to watch. It was great CFL football, and the individual players did not make their plays. The guys that you thought that would make their plays didn't. Like Vernon Adams did not make his plays. Their running back, he's a stud. Over there in Montreal, they were just making more plays. Like Alexander, he looked good. He looked fast. There was times where I was like, oh my gosh, there he goes. He's looking for a bailout, because when he got thrown on the ground one time, he started limping. He stopped getting all hype after plays. He was kind of in his feelings and stuff. But then he got that one long run in like the fourth quarter when it was big key time, and that he got his confidence back. So I feel like he's one of those guys where if you can get your hands on him, hit him, and take his confidence away, you can do that to that guy.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, these two games that just went by, and we'll see it again this weekend, like every play is so magnified, so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at, Sim talked about some of the turnovers that were pretty costly in terms for Winnipeg, but then also on the other side, there were turnovers that Montreal forced that got Winnipeg back into the game. So there was the interception from Alexander that was returned, and then there was a touchdown that preceded that, and then of course there was the fumble from Philpott, where they recovered and then ended up scoring after that too. And so those were some of those plays like back to back. You talk about how there's that fast start that Montreal had. You're up 25-6, and they feel like they got this game in the bag. You think it's going to be a 52-12 game, and then there's a couple turnovers and you're right back in it. So it's one of those things where it just shows how easy you can get a lead, but then how quick you can lose that lead too, just with a couple plays that go against you. And then again in the West final, I thought the most critical play was that the fumble return on that punt return, which puts BC in right in scoring position to close out the game. So yeah, you got to take care of the football, especially in the playoffs. I'm with you on this, Rick. It does get magnified. You throw an interception, there's a fumble, there's even penalties. Like penalties we saw some pass interference calls that put Winnipeg right on the 1 yard line for them to give an opportunity to score. And so yeah, you got to take care of the football. Got to play penalty free. You can't beat yourself. You hear this, it's very cliche, but you always hear you cannot beat yourself in the playoffs. And we saw some of that from both of those teams that ended up losing. I'm sure they're watching the film and saying we had so many chances to close these games out, or to give ourselves an even better chance to win and be in that West final or the East final. But right now we have the four best teams remaining, and I think this is going to be great ball to watch this next weekend. CFL fans got their money's worth last weekend, and they're going to get their money's worth, I think, again this weekend too.
I agree with you. All right, let's make our picks for the East and West final. I'll volunteer to go first. I'm not going to overthink Hamilton, Montreal, and I dare not pick Montreal anyways. The Tiger-Cats, home field advantage. They've won, and not that this has any bearing on what's going to happen this Saturday, but they've won 9 consecutive playoff games at home against Montreal. So again, it doesn't really matter it doesn't matter at all about stats in the past, but it is an intriguing statistic of how dominant this franchise has been, especially at home and especially at Hamilton Stadium. I just like the way Hamilton's going about it. The odds makers have made Montreal the betting favorites. I don't think the Ticats players and coaching staff are really worried about that, but not a lot of people are talking about the Ticats. And maybe it's because the way that Montreal played last week and the way Davis Alexander has been exceptionally playing, and is 11-0 in his career. So I think a lot of the talk, and rightfully so, is in Montreal's corner. But at the end of the day, I think the Ticats are going to play their best football this coming Saturday. So I'm taking Hamilton to win. And I'd love to take Saskatchewan, but I'm going with BC to upset the Rough Riders at home at Mosaic. It's going to be a crushing loss for the Riders. I just have a feeling that BC's got another trick up their sleeve, or they somehow just play their best game of the season this coming Saturday. So I'll stick with the Lions. So it'll be, I guess, Tiger-Cats and Lions in the Grey Cup in Winnipeg, which should be an exciting matchup. Matt, who do you like this weekend in both the East and West final?
All right, starting in the East, blackout game, home game. sellout stadium. The fans are gonna be rocking. We're going Hamilton to beat Montreal. I'm with you, Rick. We're not gonna overthink that. They're just gonna come out here and win the ball game. And in the West, I'm gonna go opposite you on this one, Rick. I'm gonna say
Okay.
Sask. I think Sask. They have some rested guys. They've been rested the last couple of weeks, and sometimes there's the debate: is it rest versus rust? But I think this is a veteran group. They're led by a really good head coach with Corey Mace, and I know he's gonna do a great job getting those guys ready to go. I think I'm going Sask. But in a very close game, though. I think that's going to be another game where there could be a walk-off field goal or a walk-off touchdown, something like that. But it'll be a close one in Saskatchewan.
All right, Sim. It's impossible for you to go opposites this week because Matt and I are differing on the West Final. Who do you like? Who do you like in these two games?
I got Sass blowing BC out in this
Oh,
game.
Okay.
Like, I'm going with the home field advantage in the playoffs every single time. It's just different type of energy, Like, I feel like Rourke and them boys, they got bailed out last week against a physical Calgary team, and I think that the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they're going to come with that same kind of game plan. They're going to be tough. They're going to have Trevor Harris hitting these quick throws. It's going to be cold. They already got 30,000 sold out. I got to go with the home field advantage in the playoffs every single time. And then the Hamilton Tiger-Cats got to go with the home field advantage. We don't lose at home. I don't remember the last time we ever lost a Eastern final game. So I'm going to just go with history.
Yeah, good picks. I can't argue with either of them. And a good point on the lines, too. This is a dome team going to a cold weather stadium. Sask has home field advantage, and we'll see what happens in that West Final. This coming Saturday, you'll definitely want to get into your seats early, like 2:30 p.m. early, because there's so much activations going on before kickoff. And one of those cool activations, it'll happen in the first quarter, but he's with us today, and his name is Simoni Lawrence. He's the alumnus of distinction on Saturday. Oh, yeah. Love to see it. Love to hear it. Can't wait.
Yes, sir.
Congrats. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's chill.
Do you have a speech?
I just want to tell
planned?
you feel me? Do I have a speech plan? Nah, I'm just going to get the crowd turned up, put the energy on the boys and let them get all that energy and let them feel it. You know what I mean? We need all of the crowd rooting and cheering for our boys on Saturday. I can't even call them boys because it's the playoffs now. You got to call them gentlemen. They're grown men now. It's the playoff time where the money really matters. So they're gentlemen. We got to get the crowds on their feet, loud and proud for the great gentlemen on the football field this week because they're going to need it. They're going against a very good Montreal football team.
I can't wait for Saturday. There's lots of stuff happening before the game. Brandon Banks is going to be there. Luke Tasker, Chris Van Zyl, a lot of other alumni as well. The Trues playing the halftime show. It's going to be exciting to be at Hamilton Stadium this Saturday. Get there early at 2:30 in your seats. That would be optimal time to see all the things that are happening. All right, let's start breaking down the East Final. Matt, we'll start with you. How would you rate the performance of Alouettes quarterback Davis Alexander and the rest of the Montreal team versus Winnipeg in the East semifinal? They erupted out to a big lead. Winnipeg stormed back, but Montreal, the better team on that day.
Yeah, you know what? They played a great football game. Starting with Alexander, he was lights out from almost beginning to the end of the game. I know I just mentioned that interception that he did throw, but besides that, he was 24-34, and you saw and went for 384. He had Tyson Philpott that had 138 yards, 135 yards receiving, and then a couple of receivers that were close to 100-yard games, which was Austin Mack. And so Austin, I think he had 98 yards receiving. So there was great production from that offense. And then on another standout too on that offensive side of the ball was Stevie Scott, who came out with his hair on fire that game and was just running physical. They said, "Hey, we're not only going to pass the ball on you guys, we're also going to run the ball down your throat." And Stevie Scott, he had 133 yards rushing off 18 carries. He was averaging 7.2 and had a couple touchdowns. I thought one of the touchdowns that stuck out was the one that they had in the red zone there, where the entire offensive line came, rallied, bumped them, pushed them. They were doing whatever it took, and that's playoff football. And so I think one of the standouts, that was a standout play to me. And then on the defensive side, there was some great play from some defensive players. I'll start with Isaac Adeyemi Berglund, who he had 4 tackles, he had a sack, two forced fumbles, a fumble recovery. Was really active, really disruptive on that field, and he's one of their defensive leaders. And that D line also was getting after Claros, making it uncomfortable for him. And then of course the DBs in the back. And there were a couple plays that obviously went against that Alouette secondary. A couple of deep passes. I'm sure that they wanted to get back. A couple of defensive PIs that went against them too. But overall, I thought it was a really solid performance, playoff performance. It's never going to be perfect, but these guys came in at a home game, got it done at home, had that lead, came out like fast. We thought, like we just talked about it before, they came out fast, and we thought the game was going to be over, like right from that halftime. But the CFL football, these Winnipeg, a well-coached team, came back in it. But we really thought it was a great performance from Montreal. But again, Sim, I'm with you on this. They did show they show that they are susceptible, and so it's a team that put up 42 points, but it's not a team that's unbeatable by any means, by any stretch. Hamilton matches up very well against this Montreal unit. I know Alexander is undefeated and he's been playing really good football over the last little while, but I think Hamilton's going to come up with a really good game plan to neutralize him in this Eastern final. So, but yeah, overall, if we're just talking about Montreal's performance, thought they did exactly what they had to do to get the job done.
We'll get your input on what Hamilton's plan of attack on D is going to be for this game. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. But Sim, Davis Alexander, Matt kind of referenced it, 11-0, won his first playoff game as a starting quarterback. This Montreal team must be supremely confident in his ability and their ability to get a W.
Yeah, and I'm watching the Montreal team, and I'm just like, there's a lot of talk about David Alexander and how like he's 11-0, but I think the credit goes to Monson being 11-0 with Alexander, because Monson calls such good football games for this kid. Like, he knows exactly how to get this kid going. He knows exactly what to do, and Monson's always been a beast as an offensive coordinator.
You mean
so that's
Jason
the
Moss?
weapon right there. Yeah, Jason Moss. I'm sorry, keep saying Monson. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
just
it's okay.
because I was just talking to our defensive coordinator at practice like 15 minutes ago. But Coach Moss, he's one of those guys where he understands the Canadian football game to the T. You look at this kind of football team, this kind of team kind of reminds me of like the Ottawa receiver wise. They don't have any like superstars, but they got a bunch of really good receivers that all play their role really well. And I'm just looking at the game, and everything they do is to make sure that this quarterback is successful. Like when they go 5 wide and put Snead, his favorite receiver, he's now using they go 5 wide. They're using Snead as the running back check down to isolate the Mike linebacker. And I'm watching that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to be tough for the Mike linebacker to try to finesse and move around with that. These guys look for matchups all the time. And Alexander, he's a firecracker, but the thing about this firecracker is you can take it out of him. I thought that he was always like that. He's not always like that, because I seen some chink in his armor during the game when he got thrown to the ground and they started coming back a little bit. He started limping. I was like, oh, he's looking for a bailout. You know what I mean? I studied this stuff close. Like, he was looking for a bailout. The only thing is he's an athletic freak. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about the playoffs, and that's why they are so successful. Like when they had everybody shut down. Be like I said, they got a bunch of really good receivers, but nobody that you got to worry about and double team and stuff. And our defensive backs would be able to stick them man to man, no problem. But the thing is, this guy is a mobile quarterback, and whenever you have a mobile quarterback, it's got to be I can trust my brothers. I never worried about missing plays. I always went full speed because I trusted all of my teammates. As long as I missed on the right side of the leverage, like say somebody's running, I know I'm the only outside player, I'm only going to miss outside, so I turn it back to my teammates, right? And the defensive line have to be okay taking shots, like go and make the play, don't break down, because that's the tendency when you go against these mobile quarterbacks. You're hesitant to rush the passer the way that you're supposed to rush the passer. Our defensive line has to be like, you know what, we're better than this guy, we're going to go get him, and if I don't get him, I know my brother brother's going to get them. And that's the thing that we're going to have to do on the defensive side of the ball as well. We're going to have to keep those defensive ends fresh because they're going to be running this game. Like, if you watch that game, you're like, oh, my gosh, we need Ramirez, you're up this week. I don't care, like, we need 3 defensive ends because we need them fresh at all times, not only because of Alexander, how he gets out the pocket, but they don't even like running the football. I mean, but this big guy they just give him the ball, and he's not one of those aggressive running backs like Mills. He's just so big, he accidentally runs people over. Like, he doesn't have that mean streak in him, like, he's just a big guy that knows how to run the football. So we can neutralize that, but the way they don't like to run the ball, but they're going to be throwing these screen passes. They threw so many screen passes that I would tell the defensive backs to, hey, guys, this was a setup game. It's the first play is going to be a screen and go. So don't jump right away because that's the nature of the game, and that's how Moss is. Moss is one of those coaches where he coaches for 1 week, but he's also coaching for the next week as well, too. So everything that you see on tape, you got to see what the double move off of it's going to be. And that's the thing about Montreal right now. Like, they got that kid Alexander, and he's playing really good football, but a lot of the credit should go to Moss because Moss is the one technician in this 26-year-old. This kid has some tangibles that a lot of people don't have that he's able to do. And you know, that RPO game, that's another thing that they have that's going to help them if it's windy out, because you got to think about everything about this football game. It's like, will it be 2-quarter football? If it's 2-quarter football, man, that's tough because that's the kind of football that Montreal likes to play. If you watch this past week, that RPO game, and with the running back they got, he's handing it off. But as you've seen in the end zone when he scored the first touchdown rushing, he'll pull it and go score. That's why I said these defensive ends have to be extremely active this game, and that's why I'm happy we got the defensive player of the year playing defensive end Julian Hauser. He's going to have a big game. And then on the other side, Oskee, he's going to have a big game. And I don't know who they're going to dress between Kendrick and Ramirez, but Ramirez, like if I'm because we need that rotation at the defensive end spots, especially for the screen game, because Matt, playing field half, you got to force it back to them dogs because who's coming. Them defensive ends are coming to put their heavy bodies on these receivers. So it's going to be that type of football game. And the thing about Montreal is, when they get up, they're a tough team to beat because the defensive coordinator for Montreal, he thrives on quarterbacks trying to throw the ball. If you line up and say, hey, I'm going to throw the ball all day, oh, my gosh, you might see blitzes from Africa to Canada to America. You might see the defensive tackle drop into the safety coming in, the half coming. That's what he likes to do.
Exotic blitzes,
the dog crap out of you. And that's the reason that we have to make sure that this game doesn't get to a point where it's like the Montreal scoring and we're just so predictable and just drop back passing. We got to be able to go into this game and be like, hey, you know what? We got control of this game. You guys are moving at our tempo. We have to control the tempo of this game because they are a tempo football team, and they're also a team when they're up, they play better. They start rolling. If you see that first half, the best thing that happened for Winnipeg was halftime, because it would have been 50-0 if them boys didn't go in the locker room and say, oh my gosh, these boys suck. All right, let's get ready for next week, because that's exactly what happened. But this football team is a very well-balanced football team. It's just our stars are going to have to be the stars. And our offense, we need 40 points out of our offense. We just got to score. We got to score, because I believe that our offense is better than their defense, head up, straight up. Like, if we're running our offense is better than their defense. They can make more plays than the defense can make against us. The problem is that where we could get in trouble is if their offense gets up on us and we become one-dimensional. That's when Montreal's defense is like, oh my gosh, these guys look great when they don't have to play football. Now these linebackers, they're veteran linebackers, they're getting 18, 20 yards in their drop. I seen Sankey get an interception the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, that boy was looking back, he was like 20 yards back playing, and these guys are very good at coming up and tackling. They'll make Bo dump, 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 and they'll come up and they're really good at coming and tackling with Beverett and Sankey and all the rest of those guys in that game plan. But like I said, I feel like our matchup as well, we have to control the tempo of the game.
Matt, what do you think will be Hamilton's plan of attack on defense? And I'm looking at a guy like Uno. Like, is he going to spy Alexander? Is he going to be, let the reins off him to do what he does best? Like, how do you see Brett Monson in this Ticats defense attacking Montreal's offense?
Yeah, because they do match up very well. We're just going to look at, you mentioned Stubblefield or Uno, and the rest of that secondary. They match up very well against these Montreal receivers. So if they wanted to go and play man, they're not going to play man all game. That's not going to be they're not going to do that. But they could. They very well could do that. I think you're going to see some different looks. I think you're going to see looks like they have that defensive player of the year, Julian House there. You might see him dropping. You might see him dropping into coverage. Those are some of the things that they did throughout the year. They sprinkled that around. You might see something like that. You might see some different blitzes, blitzes from different DBs, different looks from different DBs. So I think what Monson's going to do is he's going to try his best he's going to try his best to confuse Alexander, give him some looks that he has not seen. But then at the same time, he knows that he trusts his guys. He's not going to do anything out of the norm. But yes, I think they match up well defensively. One of the things that Hamilton has to do is they have to play team defense. And so what I mean by that is when there's a run, there's got to be multiple hats coming to the ball. It can't be just one guy that's sticking up, especially with this back that they got with Scott. He's a physical back. He showed what he could do with his physicality, and then the rest of the unit showed that what they can do and how physical they can be. So it's got to be team defense. It can't be just I'm just gonna try to force the ball inside because we saw the screen game. I agree with Sim. They're not gonna stick to that screen game. It's gonna be screen and goes, or they're gonna have a completely different game plan offensively. But if they are going to that screen, it's got to be, hey, I'm going to force it inside. But the rest of the cavalry, y'all got to be rolling and flying to that football. So it's got to be team defense. I think that's going to be one of the things that's going to be critical for this defense from Hamilton. And then, of course, too, with the way Alexander has been playing and how just how sharp he's been and aggressive, and not aggressive. He's not throwing a ton of deep balls, but he's taking what the defense is giving him. So, again, these guys have to be in the back end. They also have to have great eyes. I think just not biting for double moves, anything like that, and just doing your job. I know there's been some times we got behind on flea flickers. I think we just got to be sharp defensively, and not give up any of those cheap ones. So just really good eyes from the secondary, and then team defense from the rest of the guys as they're flying to the football. So I think, again, like I said, I love our matchup. There's no receiver in that receiving core where I'm like, man, this guy he's gonna give one of those DBs problems. Like, I don't see that. And then that's no disrespect to that Montreal receiving core. It's just, I just think that DB core that we have is a very elite crew. That DB core, all five of those guys, well, six, I should say, could have went all-star this year. Stubblefield could have been all-star. Moxie could have been all-star. Amos, like the whole unit could have been all-star. Now I know they only named a handful of the guys, but it's a very elite group back there. So that's why I say advantage Hamilton, especially in that back end, and of course the front end too, because we have Hauser and Osai, and then of course Casey Sales. All of these guys have been balling out all year long. So I like it's advantage Hamilton on the defensive end for sure.
I was watching the 2014 East Final, Ticats and Alouettes. A young Simoni Lawrence was in that, not Simoni, but a younger Simoni Lawrence was playing in that game. He had a little goatee going on, little facial hair that was much smaller than it is right now.
Say it twice so I know you meant it, baby.
He had a very good game, so did Brandon Banks. But I think the first play especially, and the first maybe couple plays, like you guys blitzed Jonathan Crompton and the Alouettes, you wanted to send a message right out of the gate. Sim, do you think this Ticats defense comes out of the gate aggressive, or let's see what Alexander in this offense does, and then we'll start, putting the pedal to the metal? How do you think they go about doing it?
I don't want to say how I think they'll go about doing it. I'll tell you how I think I would go about doing
Okay.
it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm playing against this Montreal football team, and after watching that game, I'm like, yo, let's make them prove it right away. You don't want to sit back and let a team that's already on the attack the way Montreal was on the attack and come and get you and have you on your heels. What you want to do, go get them and say, all right, that didn't work. Let's readjust and see what's happening. But whatever happens, you want it to happen fast. And it has to do if the wind or all that's going on, but you want to get on them right away. Like I said, I believe in our defensive backs. This is a game where we could play a lot of man-to-man and be successful. The problem is we have to give the quarterback to the defensive line. So anytime you're in man-to-man, the quarterback belongs to the defensive line. And that's where that you got to run up and cut up these games where I'll have like Oskee or something coming off the blitz or coming off a game a little late just to put a little spy on them, collapse the pocket, and then you got to just keep him caged in. He's a guy that likes to get out. And he's not as like athletic as like a Zach Caleros throwing out of the pocket like that. He's not like that accurate doing that. He likes to throw the ball up to like Phil Pot. You've seen him catch that touchdown. He sees one-on-ones. He believes in his guys. So the game of this game is going to be on defense. Win your one-on-ones. And if I'm the coach, I'm giving them every single formation they can possibly see. Because if you know Moss, one thing about playoff football with him, he's going to have 4 receivers over there, 1 over there, and then you're going to see all this. This is going to go on all before the play just to make sure that you can line up and catch that. And then they got that rage takeoff on the receivers. That when you watch Montreal and any of Moss's football teams, how their wide receivers take off the ball, you can't get clues on run or pass because they're always going. And the thing about them as well, too, is they protect the quarterback. They'll bring everybody in and send 3-man routes just to make sure they can get their shots per game. Because Moss is one of those guys where it's like, hey, I'm taking at least 5 shots in the game, and I don't care what happens because it's more better things that can happen for us than them. We can get a pass interference. We can catch the ball. There's so many things. So he's going to always have plays to take his shot. So the way the defense is going to have to attack this, they're going to actually have to attack. Like, go and get them, to your point, Rick. Don't sit on the heels. Don't lay back and just let them dink and dunk and do that, because I feel like that's the kind of game that they like. They'll run. They don't have no problem running RPO, dump off the Snead, or checking back and throwing a screen pass, because they know that they have 5 plays per game that are going deep, and they're not necessarily like a BC team that's looking for the deep ball all the time. They are a methodically moving drive football team. And then the thing is, we have to win on second down. We have to win on second down against this guy. And the challenge with winning on second down is when we go in our zones, that's the time our defensive line are going to have to put their ears back and just go. Just go. Don't worry about missing, or don't worry about stopping your feet. Just go. Make him nervous. And then the linebackers have to remember, this quarterback is being rushed, and you're not being rushed when you're playing football. So every time, like when you're looking at the quarterback, remember you have your boys in front of you attacking this guy. So you should be nice and patient in your drops. You should be able to see the quarterback, see who can threaten your zone, and then get to these spots, because they're also a timing football team as well. Like a lot of these passes like to come out quick and stuff, and and Braxton Hill, like he did last week, I think he could have a big game this week. If he has the kind of game that he had last time we played football, then we're going to be in great shape. And the thing about Alexander is he's going to be running this ball. When he gets out here and sees this crowd in all black, he's one of those guys where he wants the attention. You know what I mean? Like, he wants the attention. He wants everybody to be like, yeah, like he's going to feed off of this kind of energy from our crowd and stuff. So he's going to be taking off, running the ball. And when you got a quarterback that thinks he's tougher than the world, you make him pay for it. You know what I mean? They call you a quarterback, you stay in the pocket and mind your business. But if you want to come out here with the big boys, you have to make him pay for it. I'm not saying do anything illegal, do everything inside the whistles, of course, but you have to make him pay for it, because when he got hit a little bit too hard, I seen some chink in his armor. He started limping. He wasn't getting his hype after plays, but as soon as he made another big play, he was right back on it. Like, oh, let's go, let's go. So our defense, man, we got to go get them. I love our matchup. I just love our matchup against them. I just know that we have to be able to line up. Like, all week, I'm giving the team every single formation, because these guys, they like to test your eyes. That's what Moss is going to do, test your eyes. And then the way that you can calm that down is you're going to have to get out of man and play some zone and know how to bump everything. Like, Goose is going to have to be playing free safety, but then he's also going to have to play Sam. Stubberfield's going to have to understand that he's going to have to pass things along. It's going to have to be constant communication against Moss's offenses. Like, you have to talk. Like, nobody should ever go on the field and not say anything to each other going against a Moss's offense. So this Hamilton Tiger-Cat defense, they got to be on the attack. You can't sit back, because if you sit back, they're going to just start running the ball. And, you know, our guys are just catching right now. We're not hitting, like, we're not going to make an impact. You know, it's one of those games where you're going to have to tell your teammates, like, hey, leave it all on the line for me. Like, when you go and hit with mad, nasty attentions like Philip Osai when he gets to the ball, because that's the only thing that's going to be able to stop what was going to be going on. You got to go there with bad attentions every single time. And that running back last week, he was falling forward a lot. That takes toll on defenses. Got to make sure that we're gang tackling, to Matt Bucknor's point. We're gang tackling and knocking this running back, because any offensive coordinator, his what he does not like is running the ball on first down and getting 2 or 3 yards. Oh, I should have just threw the ball. I could, and that's where we got to get them thinking. But if they got that guy falling for 5 and 6 yards, he's like, oh, this is candy. I could call football games all day. 2nd and 4. Okay, maybe you can get the ball 18 times. And that's what happened to Winnipeg. You know what I'm saying? So in this game, we're going to have to knock them back, and we're going to have to win our one-on-ones. When you have a quarterback that can scramble like that, you have to take a little bit out of the coverage in your eyes, and then the linebackers' drops aren't going to be as deep, because if they don't trust their ability. If you got linebackers, like, I think Braxton Hill's one of those guys where he can trust his ability, get deep in his drop, and then come and make a play in open field if this quarterback gets out of the pocket. But that's what's going to have to happen, and you're going to have to be super savvy when they put things in front of you. Moss is one of those coaches where when he puts something in front of you, there's something behind you. If he puts something on the side of you, it's something on the on top of you. That's how he does it. It's like, hey, I want to give this guy the easiest reads. You either throw it to the guy right there, that if the linebackers come up, then you throw it to behind. And that's how that they've been moving the football. And for our defense, it's going to have to be attack. It's one of those games where just go get it. Hamilton feeds off defense. Nothing will impact the crowd more than a guy that's been on news talking all day than seeing somebody come from the Sam spot, Reggie Stubblefield, against your old team and just smoke the quarterback. What? The energy you'll get from the crowd off a big hit on the quarterback this game
going crazy
will feed you to get you through the whole entire game. We always talk about how football is about momentum. And when I say momentum, in the playoffs, if you can get your crowd in the game and keep them in the game, oh, man, you dancing and laughing. Like, when we played throwback game, when we played BC Lions, right? Who was our defensive coordinator? He coached Deion Sanders, Atlanta Falcons.
It was
Glanville, Jerry Glanville.
Jerry Glanville. Yeah.
Right. We went into that game playing BC. BC was very confident coming in the crossover. And we were looking around, and I looked at Glanville. I said, Glanville, I just want to beat up the quarterback right now. I was like, put me on. I got rush. I said, put me on the defensive line, put me right over the center, and just let me go get to the quarterback. Put me at the Sam spot and just let me blitz. And just that's how it has to be, because that's the king on their board, right? So it's like, who wants to be responsible to stop the king on the board? That's what Coach Monson has to find out. He's got to look around at all the guys in their eyes and be like, who wants to be the guy to be the one that's going to get blamed for the win or get the win, you know? And that's how it has to be. Somebody has to step up to stop this kid, you know, because that's the type of football game it's going to be. That's the element it's going to be. It's the playoff football game. Everybody since camp, you sweating in camp, you're like, man, I just want to go to the Grey Cup. And it's all right here? Come on, somebody has to step up. The impact players are going to have to be impact players. Jamal Peters, he's going to make his plays. Goose, going to need a big game out of Goose. Because one thing about Montreal that I seen, when they bring that Max Pro, they love doing all of this. And it's deep.
Deep crossers, deep crossers.
And it's deep. And Phil, and I'll tell you who their guys are. You know, Max, the one that got paid, but their guys are Philpott and Sneed. That's who run the offense. So if you see Philpott and Sneed, money, because those are the guys that run their offense right now, is Philpott and Sneed. Max, one of those guys where they just force feed him because they paid him and they're trying to get him his touches. You'll see him on screens and like quick stuff, just the timing routes. But the guy that Alexander likes to trust a lot is Sneed and Philpott. This is one of those football games, man. Oh, my goodness, man. It's just like, I cannot actually wait to watch this football game, because the Hamilton Tiger-Cats have the better, I would say, the better all overall individual players. It's just, how can we get these boys to play together as a team and make sure that they're playing team defense? It has to be team defense. And when I say team defense, when you're going against a team that likes to throw screens and do all this dip and dump stuff, you have to play leverage football, meaning you have to use your teammates. If I'm playing will linebacker or field half or boundary or Mike, you have to know where you can miss the tackle. That's what we have to do a better job at. We have to be able to hit if we miss the tackle, it's going to our pursuit coming, and that's hunting. And this is going to be one of those games where if we can do what we always talk about, our fundamental football, oh my gosh, our defense, if we play fundamentally sound, we'll be completely fine, and nothing's going to be a problem. The only problem that's going to happen if we're not playing fundamentals, and what's not playing fundamentals, it's not knowing the call, not being able to line up, and not tackling well. Can't throw shoulders at these guys. Not at no 225 running back. Can't throw shoulders. You know what time it is, Matt, for this kind of running back? Gator roll! I love me a big stand up.
Gotta bring the pads. Gotta bring the pads.
What? Oh,
gotta bring them.
I like to go. Hey, Rick. So sometimes I was in North Dakota, right? I was in North Dakota. I used to rustle alligators to get ready for the football season. You jump on their back and then you just gator roll, just keep turning. And that's how you tackle these big backs like that. There's no like, boom, just hit, boom, just hit. Gator roll. You got to grab something. No turning your head to the side, seeing what happens. Don't turn your head to the side anyway, because that's how you get concussions. Face mask everything up so you can see what you're hitting. Whether you got to get your face mask on the thigh board. Once you get your face mask on the thigh board, you grab the leg and then gator roll, gator roll. Everybody, you have to stop these legs from moving this game. Rick, I'm fired up, Rick. I'm fired up, Rick. I'm fired up. I got like 4 good plays in me.
Let's get all 4 right out of the gate so we can set the tone.
Yeah, put you in the first quarter, bro.
That's it. That's all we need, man. That's all we need. First 4 plays, we're set. A couple of things I want to jump on before I hand the football over to Matt is that crossover game against BC. I think the Ticats won, and you and the team won 48-8 that game. I mean, it was an absolute blistering victory over BC. The other thing too, you mentioned second downs. Like, Montreal was unconscious on second downs last week against Winnipeg, and Winnipeg was horrific. Winnipeg converted 14% of their 15 opportunities on second down, and Montreal converted 68% of their 23 opportunities. Were 16 of 23. That is crazy. I mean, those two numbers you really don't see from a bad perspective and from a really good perspective. So, yeah, I agree. Second down will be certainly one of the keys to this game on Saturday. You want to be in your seats early. Pre-game show, Tiger-Cats pregame is at 2, kickoff is at 3. A lot of stuff happening before kickoff. Luke Tasker is going to be there, Brandon Banks, Chris Van Zyl, other alumni. Simoni's going to be the alumnus of distinction on Saturday. Blackout game as well. Hashtag wear black to this game. We want to give the boys in black and gold a big boost right out of the gate. Matt, let's talk about the Ticats offense. We haven't talked about the offense much so far in Ticats this week. What did the Ticats do well offensively that the Alouettes are now saying, we're going to find this to be difficult?
Offensively, wow, they do so many great things offensively, and I'm going to start with the run game, and I think there's been a resurgence of the run game from Greg Bell. I think he showed a lot. He showed some great flashes to close the season, and I think that's something that Montreal is going to have to keep an eye on. And he had a great game against Montreal in Montreal, and so he showed what he can do against that defense. And so the defense was, we talk about the offense wasn't who they were, but that defense was out there. They had all their guys out there, or most of their guys out there for that last performance that Hamilton went up and played them. So that the run game is something that they do well, and they match up real well offensively with that run. Now with the pass game, now you got Bo Levi, first of all, the MOP of the league. I'm calling it right now. He's MOP of the league, hands down. I know they're going back and forth with it's going to be it's Bo Levi, and the reason is one, he's leading the league in touchdowns. His interception percentage has been super low this year. Extremely efficient throughout the season, taking care of the football, and then aside from that, he's been getting multiple guys involved. So a lot of the eyes have been on Kenny Lawler. Okay, Kenny's been one of the targets, main target. That's no secret. But that doesn't mean that Tim White hasn't been involved. That doesn't mean that Keandre Smith hasn't been involved. And then they've been using Keandre in so many different ways. It's not just a deep fly routes. They got him under catching balls underneath, getting yak, finding ways to get Keandre involved, even short pass game, long pass game. It's been outstanding the way they've been using that production. Then of course, you still have Brandon O'Leary Orange. You still have there's other weapons that they've been using. Shamar Bridges. They've been getting these guys involved. Then they'll go they'll tight end you, and then they'll run out of that set. But then they also have Robinson you've seen Robinson have a couple of slam dunk touchdowns on a couple of guys this year. So they've been using a lot of different ways to get guys to put the ball in guys' hands. And I think that creativity, I think, of the offense, of course, led by Scott Milanovic, has been, you can tell that the guys are having a lot of fun with that offense because everybody's getting involved. They talk about everybody eats. A lot of guys have been, all-stars through this year. Even Revenberg, that offensive line, Revenberg has been getting his love. Josh Bell, Greg Bell got his love. You saw Keandre, one of the top Canadian performers in the league. He's getting love, over 1,000 yards receiving. So they do a lot of great things well. And again, this is another matchup. Again, this Montreal defense is a tough defense. Just because you heard Sim talk about how they can create some of these exotic looks and blitzes and you have guys moving in different spots and kind of creating a little bit of confusion. So they do a great job of that. They have a great front as well. I think that's one of the matchups. It's Montreal's front against Hamilton's O-line. I think that's going to be, if there's going to be a spotlight, I think that's going to be one of them. But I'm still giving the advantage to Hamilton on that side, just because of that run game that Greg Bell has been just resurging at the second half of the season. So a lot of great things that they do well. I can't wait to see how they execute, especially with Bo Levi, one of the vets. We've said it multiple times through the season. The way Bo goes is the way this team is going to go. The way this O is going to go. And so, again, I say eyes on the offensive line and the D line, but then again, eyes go right back to Bo. And I have nothing but confidence in the way that he's going to perform because he's a vet. He's been there. And when you're matching up these quarterbacks, it's Bo versus Alexander. Advantage Bo. Let's go.
Sim, what do you think Montreal is worried about when it comes to Hamilton's offense?
I mean, the running game. When you're like, that's the thing Montreal's worried about with every football team. It's the running game. Can Hamilton get a balance running a game like that where they don't have to put so much pressure on Bo being MVP Bo in the playoffs? Because this running game will open up everything. When you force Montreal to have to defend this run where they can't just defend it with their front six, they got to bring people in the box and play football. Now you're letting Kenny Lawler get his one-on-ones. Now you're letting Tim White be able to take the top off of play action. This is one of those games where you want to be able to get into your play action bag. And when I say play action bag, you want to make these linebackers be like, man, we got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. And what happens? Now you get Tim White on them crosser routes or those deep digs, and you get Kenny Lawler on those deep comebacks. That's the type of game that Montreal is hoping and praying for. We got, man, offense, y'all got to score touchdowns so we don't got to worry about this run. And the team, I told you guys last week, playoff football, I love to watch the coaches, because I feel like playoff football is for the coaches because they have all the data from a whole season of everything. So this game is all about the coaches. I want to see the coaches matchups. How is Coach Milanovic going to go against Thrope? They've been going at it for Lord knows how long. Like, that's the battle I want to see. Like, what is going to happen between these two guys on matchup 555, however many times they played? That's what I want to see. I want to see these coaches match up, because it's like it's going to be a chess game. They have players on the defense for Montreal that are star players that can make a lot of plays that Thrope trusts, and Milanovic has everything that he wants on offense to make his plays. So that's the matchup that they're gonna be worried about. They're like, man, Coach Milanovic, he got some great concepts over here. So this is how, and that's the matchup. That's why I think that they'll be more scared of anything. It's gonna be this coaching matchup battle. Yeah. That's the matchup, Rick. I'm in playoff football, it comes down to chess and who's going to put their players in the best positions to make plays and who's not going to put their players in bad positions to not make plays.
Sim, and again, we talked about this at practice after Tuesday, how valuable is the extra week of rest for the Ticats? There's always that rest versus rust. How valuable is this extra week?
It's valuable because when our team was totally locked in this whole entire week, they were meeting at the stadium together as teammates. They were hanging out with each other. They were watching the game, and the best way to learn in life is from other people's mistakes. And this week of football taught you so much about the Canadian football game just as a whole. So they got to see stuff, and the brain can't tell the difference between you playing the football game and you actually playing the football game, if whether you're running or you're just watching. You can trick your brain into actually thinking that you're playing a football game, and you could just be in your couch eating chips, or for our boys' sakes, we eat broccoli and stuff because we mad solid and we're number one in the East. So this game for the Hamilton Tiger-Cats is like, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I got so many things I'm texting.
We're talking about extra week.
Extra week, rest. Yeah, it's my bad, y'all. And so this game is one of those games where they're feeding off of each other already by getting to watch this. And our guys are one of those teams where we like to be fresh. We need to be fresh. We have fresh legs, and we're the champions. And when you're the champions, you understand that you're the champions for a reason. That's why you're getting the bye week. And when you get the bye week, you can't just sit on your butt and not do anything. It's a week to sharpen your iron. It's like, how can I get faster? How can I jump higher? How can I make sure my knee's not hurting no more? How can I make sure my ankle's not hurting no more? How can I get my thumb to look like an actual thumb again? It's just time to take care of all the little nicks and bruises. So when you're on this football field, you're not handicapped at all. So the extra week for the Hamilton Tiger-Cats, it's brilliant. It's not like a Saskatchewan who the season's pretty much been over for about like 5 weeks. Now that's hard to be in Canada and locked in when you already clinched everything 5 weeks in, and then you get the bye week. You're already mentally checked out. Like, I don't care what nobody says. It's just part of the game. Like, it's hard to stay focused when you already achieved the goal and you're just waiting for the goal. The Hamilton Tiger-Cats, we've been in a dogfight all the way until the last football game. So now that's the benefit of being in playoff mode since Scott said we were in playoff mode. So now this team coming to us, we're like, oh man, we can't wait to play. Like, we are hungry for the thing, and I think this bye week was the best thing that happened for the Hamilton Tiger-Cats, just to come out fresh and get this home field game for one game in the Grey Cup. They should come out and dominate, and execute. The domination this week off of having that bye week has to come out of execution and being able to line up and make the plays.
Another thing too, Matt, and this is, I don't think many people are talking about this, but this is a Ticats team that had a bye week, played Ottawa, had another bye week, and is now facing a Montreal team, which, granted is feeling really good with the way it played against Winnipeg, especially offensively. But this is the time of the year where teams empty the tank. The Ticats have a lot more tank to empty come Saturday.
Absolutely. And at this point of the season, you mentioned that late bye week that they had before Ottawa, and then playing Ottawa, and then another bye week. At that point of the season, it's a grind. This season is a physical and mental grind, and it's been going since May for these guys. And they've been beaten up on their bodies, beaten up month after month, week after week, day after day, and now they have that opportunity to recover and rest. Now Montreal, this team, they've been beaten up, and so they're coming into this game. Now they did win against Winnipeg, but that was still a physical game, and so Montreal's coming into this game with some bruises that they gotta, they're trying to lick their wounds and try to heal their wounds from last week so they can be fresh for this week. That's not to give any excuses to Montreal. They're gonna come in, these guys are gonna be ready to go come Saturday. But with that said, Hamilton have that extra week, 2 weeks of extra preparation, extra rest that's going to be so critical going into this Eastern final. That bye week, it's so many teams. You fight for that bye week. You fight for that bye week, and you ask any coach, any league, any sport, you say, you're going to get that first round bye. You're going to get a chance to host a division conference final. They're taking that bye week every single time, and Hamilton earned it. This wasn't not something that was given to them. They earned this. They beat up. They went 7-1. They went 7-1 against all Eastern opponents. They were the beasts of the East, and they deserve this Eastern final to be able to host this game. And another thing too, on a side note, how is Scott Milanovic not the coach of the year after going coach of the East after going 7-1 in the East? And again, I know Jason Moss, another great coach. We were talking about how great of a coach he has been in course of the season, course of his career, great coach. But Milanovic beat him twice this year. So I that was something I didn't understand. Again, Milanovic will prove why he's the coach of the year in the East. And that's another thing too. That's wanted to kind of add to this. But yes, getting that bye is everything. And I know these guys are going to be ready to go, and that preparation to have that extra week of prep. And Sim, I love that you mentioned too. Just you get to see the mistakes the other guys are making, and then there's more data that you could collect on these guys. So it's good to see, and yeah, it's well deserved for Hamilton.
Absolutely, and to add to that, every team. The thing about the playoffs is you're on such an adrenaline high. Being banged up just doesn't matter. Like, the reason people like the bye game is because you're playing the odds. Hey, do you want to play 2 games to get to the Grey Cup, or do you just want to be able to win 1 game to get to the Grey Cup, right? Like Montreal, everybody's going to pick the 1 game, and that's what we have the opportunity. Montreal playing the game last week and them coming into the game this week, there's not going to be no layover or tiredness or none of that kind of stuff, because This is playoff football. You do everything necessary and anything necessary to be at your absolute best. And that's whether you got to rest the players that can rest until game day because they have the knowledge and understanding of the game, or if you got to give extra players some extra rest. Montreal's going to come into this game like they didn't even have a game last week because this is playoff football. If they can do it week to week during the regular season where we play freaking 18 games and you can lose like the first 10 and still make the playoffs and you're still coming and playing at a high level every week, imagine what you're going to do during the playoffs. You know what I'm saying, boy? So that's what another conception that the boys have to understand. This isn't a team that's going to be like, oh, they beat up. No, they not beat up. They going to act like they beat up, and then when they get on that football field and feel that energy, it takes advantage of everything. I mean, I remember sometimes I'm like, man, I don't even know how I'm going to play next week. Like, I can't even walk. My thumb broken. My shoulder a little separated. I get on that field and feel, oh! You know what I'm saying? And that's the great thing about football, and that's what football does to you as a human and a competitor. That's why there's nothing like it. And when you're in that arena, you do things that your body is just not simply able or being able to do. Like, you get in a car crash, you out of work for a whole whatever. Man, you make 17 tackles in the game, you playing next week. Like, let's go, you know what I'm saying? And that's because of the arena and the environment. And no environment gets that out of you like Hamilton. Come into Hamilton, they're going to get it out of you whether you're the home team or the away team. Because as football players, we're all a little psychotic, and we like that stuff, you know, when the boys are yelling and calling us names and all that stuff. You feed into it. It's like, my leg hurt, but I can't look like a punk in front of these games, in front of this team. I remember one time I blew my knee out, didn't have a knee. I was like, I can't go out like that against Toronto, coach. Put me back in the game. I'm out there limping and making plays still because of the arena. So that's the thing about football. Montreal's going to come in here. Yes, they played the game, but they're going to come in here ready to go because it's playoff football. Matt said it earlier. The 4 best teams are in the playoffs right now, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to get the best football out of the best football teams in the Canadian Football League.
One thing I want to jump on, and Matt nailed this on the head. I am no disrespect to Jason Moss, but I'm stunned that Coach Scott Milanovich is not the finalist for Coach of the Year from the East. Here's a team that he's taken that didn't make the playoffs last year. They've had a 4-win turnaround and tops in the East. I was stunned, absolutely stunned, but I digress. Hey, Sim, it's going to be the Blackout on Saturday. I know you've played in this arena with the Blackout at Hamilton Stadium. It is such a psychological boost for the home team.
It's a crazy boost. Like, the thing about an all blacked out crowd, it's just attitude, right? It's a certain kind of attitude. It's like when you go to funerals, what color do you wear?
You wear black.
All black. And nothing describes playoff football than wearing all black, because you're about to bury somebody and crush somebody's dreams. That's why I think this is so brilliant, because you're sending somebody to the grave. Like, your season's over after this if you don't make it. And that's why I think this is so gangster. I'm like, oh my gosh, we some I think, like, when you set that tempo, like, yo, we coming dressed and ready for the occasion? What? Hey, don't worry about nothing. Don't worry. Ain't nobody. Hey, you look at all your teammates and be like, yo, look. Ain't nobody going home. Everybody getting extra money. Don't worry about nothing going on in this Eastern Final game, yo. We all got the all black on. We came dressed and ready for the appearance because we know what we about to do. And that's what I think that the hypeness comes for. At least for me, that's how I looked at it. I'm like, yo, we in funeral clothes. I know I'm not going to my own funeral. You know what I'm saying? So, let's go, baby.
Matt, what do you think the players are thinking of when they're looking in the stands and everybody's got black on and they're cheering on the black and gold?
Man, that's just big energy right there, because you know it's not even just you. When you're out of that field, it's not the 12 guys on the field. You know, you got the rest of the organization there, but then you got the rest of the city. You got the rest of the city behind you too, and it's like everybody's united. Everybody's Oskee, we everybody's Ticats, this type. it's just gonna be, yeah, it's just big energy. You know, you're not alone on that football field. You've got a whole city behind you. It's that's a huge psychological boost, and it's gonna elevate the game. Sim talked about how he's hurt, he's hobbling out there. There's no injury on a night like this. You don't feel anything except energy and the player that you're running right through. So that's gonna be the biggest boost for that game. And I can't. Is it Saturday? I wish it was Saturday right now because I want to go and watch this game so
Man,
bad.
it's this podcast messed my whole day up. I'm like, man, I gotta go run a 5K after this. I got too much energy.
Oh my, I
Y'all
gotta do some
messing me up
push-ups.
the whole
This is
day,
crazy. Oh,
right? I
jeez.
was over here like, man, I'm tired. La la la. Now I'm just ready to go run some 5K or something, man.
Save yourself for those foreplays, man.
Yeah.
Blackout's going to be fun. I think we're all expecting a very physical East Final between two teams that don't like each other, that both want and think that they have something to prove to get to that next level, the ultimate game in the Canadian Football League calendar. It's this Saturday. Tiger-Cats pregame is at 2 p.m. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock on the Ticats Audio Network. Get to the stadium early. The tailgate's going to be mad. We're going to have Luke Tasker in the house, Brandon Banks, Chris Van Zyl, a number of Ticats alumni. The Trues
Ted
playing
Laurent.
halftime. Ted Laurent in the hizzy.
Laurent, baby.
Simoni Lawrence, alumni of distinction and destruction.
Hey, that too.
Destruction too.
Rick. Hey, Rick. How crazy is it to be able to say nobody in the world in the organization made more defensive plays than you made? I was sitting there talking to my mom about that last night, and I was like, I feel good too. Like, I'm still running 5Ks. I feel like I could have got another year playing football. Like,
Easy.
Mom, I had to thank my mom and dad jeans. I'm like, y'all built a tank. I appreciate y'all. So shout out to Mama and Daddy Lawrence, yo.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and big shout out to Dr. Levy and Femi and all those guys, because they took great care of me as a Hamilton Tiger-Cat too. You know, being able to respond, the training staff, the coaches, because like it's a lot that goes into this kind of stuff. Like, I'm not able to just come out and play every week just because I'm Wolverine. It's because we got the best staff, and then a lot of that credit goes to Scott Mitchell for putting a lot of these people in places like Dr. Ianni. He's a freaking genius. I don't think there's no better doctor or for surgeries and all that other stuff than him. You know, I had all kind of stuff going on at times, you know, and then we had staff being able to get us right away before playoff games, whether that was getting your knee right or being able to look like it's a regular size and all kinds of stuff go into football. So I'm so grateful for the whole Hamilton Tiger-Cats organization for taking care of me. So I'm grateful for the organization, man.
That's a great point. And this is why when teams win championships, everyone gets a ring, right? Because everyone is a hand in the success of the football team, from the trainers to the front office to obviously the players and the coaches and everyone in between. It takes a total team to win the cup. We're a couple steps from that. Let's hope that the Tiger-Cats take care of business this coming Saturday. East Final, Tiger-Cats, Alouettes, the Blackout. It's going to be a lot of fun. For Simoni Lawrence and Matt Bucknor, my name's Rick Zamperin. Like, subscribe. A new episode of Ticats This Week will drop next week.
This has been the Ticats This Week on the Ticats Audio Network. Like, follow, and get a deeper understanding of your Hamilton Tiger-Cats.